Good morning, I'm Nick May with Walls by Design, and you've joined me for Coffee with Nick. I like to talk about our systems and processes because it is one of the things that makes us so unique. And today I want to talk about our project completion and how we finish up the project so that we know that when we're done, we're done. And the difference between us and most other painting companies is most other painting companies, they kind of, they finish and they're kind of, I don't know if they just don't want to talk about money. They don't want they don't want to have any bad news. I don't know. They kind of just like disappear. So yeah, I just heard this from people. I don't know. But we are very, very intentional about the end of the project because it's you going on with your life and it's us getting paid and moving on with the project, moving on to the next project. And we want to make sure that everything is done, complete, and to your satisfaction. And it actually starts the day before we finish. So the day before we finish our project, we are going to be sending you from our office, we're going to send you a new copy of your invoice. It's really your final invoice. And so what's going to be on that is any kind of change orders that we've made along the way. And I would say maybe 40% of our projects change in scope from the time we sign off and do our booking call to the end of the project, this final part of the project where we finish up and get paid. And we want to be super transparent about that. So we do have change orders that if you decide to add something along the way, and sometimes that's, it could be hourly touch-ups. It could be, filling not holes on your cabinets. These are things that are additional things that you probably know about or don't know about beforehand, but we want you to be 100% clear that this is a new item that you have to pay for. And so the guys have access to our forms. They all live on our website, and they're going to fill out a change order. And they're on that change order. It's very simple. It's going to have your name, your email address. They're going to put the item that they've added and the price. And then if there's several items, it will total at the bottom. You will sign off on it, and you will get a copy of it because you are going to add your email address to it. And then our office gets a copy of it. And so they're going to add that to the bottom of the invoice, and it's going to be a change order. So anyways, so if you didn't have any change orders, there is no change. But you're going to get that a day before the project ends. And that's an opportunity for you to review it. We don't want you to wait till after we're done with the project and then review it. We want you to review it then, because if you see something wrong, we want you to tell us. We are human. We make mistakes. Like recently, we sent off the paperwork and the homeowner emailed us back. It was an issue that I had forgotten. She had an issue with the billing. She didn't think she paid. And then she had me send another deposit email, and then she paid it again. And then like a day later, we realized they both went through. So obviously then she didn't have the same final balance, and it wasn't a big project. So she just said, don't reverse the transaction. But anyway, so that was missed because that's abnormal. And so we ended up having to just resend a new final invoice, and all is well. So that's why we want to send you out information early. Nobody likes surprises. The other piece of information that we send out with that is your final bill. And so that's a separate email that we use a company called bill.com. We've been using them for, I don't know, maybe 2 years now. And what I love about that company is we don't have access to anything. They process, their third-party processor, kind of like if you're using Visa, right? And so we send you an invoice. You have the opportunity to make payment with either ACH, which is direct deposit or a direct withdrawal from your checking account, or with a credit card. If you use the credit card, it will automatically add the 3% service fee, and then so you have those two options of how you pay. And we do that on the deposit, and we do that on the final billing. We send that the day before as well, just so you have everything. It's not that we are asking for final payment the day before we finish, but we are asking for final payment before the guys leave. The next day, so the final day when the guys are finishing up, now you've reviewed all your paperwork, and hopefully there was no changes. And so at the end of the project, our guys are going to go around and double check everything, and then they're going to ask you to do a final check of everything. Again, our guys are human and they can miss things, and it's really easy for us to grab things right then and there. Our paperwork is very, very strong in the fact that when we finished, you are saying you took the time to look everything over and make sure that everything was done to your satisfaction. And you're going to have a form that the guys, it's very similar to one of the forms that you filled out with your project manager. I talked about this in another video. We talked about where can we clean equipment, what time can we get there. Well, on this one, it's more like, hey, I have checked the sink that the guys used. They've not left any residual paint. They've cleaned up after, they've wiped it down. There's no drips on the floors. I've looked around, there's no touch-ups to be done. And so you're gonna go through this, and we want you to take your time and make sure that everything looks great, and then sign off. And then we are expecting for you to go back to that email that we sent you and have payment right then and there. Most people understand when they go to a restaurant that they need to pay before they get up from the table. Kind of the same thing. Our expectation is that final payment is made before our guys leave the house. Um, that's just putting a bow on everything. We want to make sure that you are satisfied, because what's going to happen is my guys are packing up all their stuff and they're going off to the next project. So if there's anything that we need to fix or address, we want to do it while we're there at the house. Obviously, you can think through how inefficient it would be if we had to come back on our projects after getting out to the next project. So when we started your project, we were completed with the previous project, and so now they can focus on yours. And that's what we want to do with your project. We want to make sure everything is looks great, and it's all done to what you had expected, and then we're going to move on. So we just have a lot of forms to make sure that we're communicating well, and that nothing is missed. And that's what's great about the checklist. It's going to be a reminder for you to go check the sink, look around on the floor or the countertops or anything like that. Make sure that everything looks great. And then we can move on. Before the guys would leave, they're going to give you a care sheet, especially if we're doing cabinets. Talks about the care of the paint on the cabinets. And we don't want you to lose the records of what paint. Uh, I'm amazed at how many people throw paint away. Like, we're going to leave you with leftover paint, and that's going to be for touch-ups. And so if you're going to have us come back and do touch-ups, the paint is your responsibility to make sure it doesn't freeze, it doesn't go bad. We do want you to keep track and understand what paints were used where. So, and then we go on and we move on, and hopefully we've done a great job, and you want to give us a 5-star Google review. And let other people know about your great experience with Walls by Design. So thanks for sticking with me today. I know processes and systems aren't the most exciting things to talk about, but I do believe it is the biggest factor of why we've been so successful over the years and what makes us so unique compared to other painting companies.